And we are back and better than ever. Nick Perrett, founder and CEO of Better Boss, a proud JobTread certified implementation partner. Check us out in the marketplace directly inside your JobTread system. Click on Marketplace, sort by highest rated, and you'll see Better Boss right up there. We're going to do another cool video here where we're actually ranking top JobTread features. Now, when you're looking at JobTread, of course, they have so many great features. All right, so we dumbed it down a little bit in some of our favorites. Now, if I put in the D, doesn't mean it's a bad feature, right? We're just saying the most value that you can get as a user if you set it up appropriately. And then remember, S is going to be the superior, the top features. Now, what I love about JobTread is the features that they come out with and the product roadmap is actually developed by the user. So if you go to your help desk, you go to feature requests, then you'll see a list of all the feature requests that users just like you have submitted. All right. So if there's anything that you want to see inside your JobTread system, put in a feature request and make sure your friends, family, and the community on Facebook is giving it an upvote. And you're going to have a much more likelihood of seeing that inside your JobTread system. So it's a system built for contractors, built by the contractors. All right. So let's dive right into our top JobTread features. All right. This is exciting here. So we're going to be talking about cost groups first. First off, what is a cost group, right? So basically, you're going to be building out your catalog, right? And then from there, you want to have cost groups for each core service, right? So when you go into your job and you go into the budget, all you have to do is say plus group, add in that estimate template or that cost group, right? And then from there, add in your parameters, make any kind of adjustments. Hopefully you have some formulas in there that it's going to be able to calculate a lot of that stuff for you. And you're going to speed up your estimating time like crazy. And it's going to be plug and play. So if you want to hire and scale, it's much easier to train and get everybody on board quickly. All right, which is huge. I always like to say, let's make selling fun. The last thing I like to see is the person who's been in business 20 years and they're spending 8 hours on an estimate, starting from scratch every single time. And I have these conversations. So make sure you build out these cost groups for your core services and make it super functional and simplified to save the time and reap the benefits. Now, this one is super, super important to me. So I think, right off the bat, man, with cost groups, because I think estimate is probably the biggest area we can save time. I'm gonna put that right off the bat as superior. All right. So now we'll go into integrations. So if you go into your settings, you go to integrations, you see a list of all these different tools that you can sync up directly inside your JobTread system. All right. So this can be QuickBooks Online. This is gonna be Go High Level. This can be Stripe, Hover, Render, you name it, right? It's all gonna be there. Now, when I was looking for who we were going to partner with and who would be able to allow us to make our clients' vision and the way they operate a reality, one of the core things is I needed an open API and I needed integrations, right? I didn't want a company that was going to do everything themselves. I wanted a company that was the best at what they do and allow you to integrate the other tools needed to have an operating system that can still continue to run directly out of your JobTread system. So when we're looking at this, man, I'm just starting out high right off the bat here. Hey, we're going to go with the integrations. All right. Next, we have online payments and we have invoicing. All right. So with this, I just got off a conversation with someone who is still doing payments with checks, right? And the checks are getting lost. They're taking some time to get to deliver to their office, all these kind of things. So a great way to do this is with the online payments and invoicing. So basically you can create your document templates, all those great things. You can send the proposal directly from that budget, but you can also invoice it from it as well. And then when you're looking at the online payments, you can do Stripe, you can do the QuickBooks Online. And then if you do Stripe, which is what we do, because we use JobTread as well at Better Boss, proudly. I believe for the ACH, which is the route I would probably go with the bigger projects, so you're not getting dinged on the big fees. I want to say it's a $15 maximum that they'll charge you on those ACH transactions. So it's not a whole lot of money, right? And you're going to be able to have everything stored in one place, everything synced up, and get those payments quickly. Now, this one's super important, right? But there's so many great features. I think that I will put this one as a D. All right. I'm going to put that one as the first D. Not saying it's bad, it's essential, but stuff like integrations, cost groups are so important that we're going to put it as a D. All right. Now we have tasks and we have scheduling. All right. So if you go to your catalog, you'll notice there's going to be cost groups, but there's also going to be schedule and to-do templates. All right. Now, the whole point of having this operating system is to make it as rinse and repeat as possible, as scalable as possible. All right. So what we have to do here basically is we want to make sure that we have to-do templates for anything that comes in as like a new lead. So for anything for our sales process, like lead qualification, anything that's before pre-construction or construction, I like to do in to-do templates. And you can use workflows to have those automatically get assigned when they move into a certain stage. All right. So I think this is super important, right? You want to have your schedule for all your jobs, right? Rinse and repeat. You want those to-dos. You want it to be very scalable. But I'm gonna put this one as a C. I'll put this one as a C. I think it's very essential for me when I'm looking at the scheduling, because like I said, we do use JobTread ourselves at Better Boss. I like to go into my Gantt chart view in my schedule and basically see a list of all the implementations that we have going on at once. That way I can see what's behind, what we need to speed up on, what's really going on in all the work in progress. So it'd be the same thing for you guys. If you have multiple projects going on at once, you want to be able to see that bird eye view, especially as an owner and a leader. All right, now we have help desk and we have tutorials. Now, JobTread is so great about putting all this content out there for you guys. So if you go into your help desk, you can see that they'll have all these different stuff, tutorials, trainings, everything like that. But you can actually sign up for a group help desk session. I've even had a couple of our implementation specialists jump in on one for a question that they couldn't figure out. So you can meet with a group of other users and a specialist at the same time and go through questions and everything like that. Now, you're not really seeing that level of support, right? Usually you're calling somebody and they might be in a different country, whatever it is. So this is a great way to be able to connect with specialists and get answers answered quickly. Now, I think this stuff is extremely underrated and it's super important, especially if you're trying to do stuff on your own in terms of the implementation. But I'm gonna put this one as a B, right? I think having a great customer success team, having that kind of support is pretty big. All right. Now we have daily logs. All right. What do clients complain about with contractors? Organization, communication, being in the unknown. So daily logs is a great way to keep your clients informed. Remember, you have these different customer portals where their proposals, their invoices, their schedule, everything's going to be directly inside of that customer portal. So when you do fill out those daily logs, it showcases what you guys are doing, keeps everybody up to date, and has a whole new level of transparency. Customers absolutely love that. Now, for me, it keeps everybody on the same page, internally and externally. Daily logs are important. I hear a lot of people saying they can't get people on board to actually do it. If that's the case, get them out of here. Say goodbye. So I'm gonna put daily logs as a C. All right, I'll put that as a C. Super important, but we have a whole list here coming up that is pretty advanced with these features. So next we have communication and messaging. So this goes back to that customer portal, right? And even the vendor portal trying to communicate with subcontractors. I can't stand when I have to go through my email, go through my inbox and try to find the last communication, trying to find the document, all this kind of stuff. So one of the best ways to do that is to just do it via messaging, right? So if you have a job, all you have to do is communicate directly in that thread on that job dashboard. And for me, I think that's the best way to do it. Keeps everybody on the same page, keeps documentation in the same place, right? And they're still going to get an email if you turn on those notification settings every time that you do send them a message. And then they just click the button and they go directly into the customer portal. So for me, the messaging, I think this is pretty essential. I do want to say this though, before I release my ranking here, is whenever you send those messages, remember, it's going to show who the recipient is going to be, right? So you can do internal roles, you can do all job viewers. Just make sure you set that setting right before you send your message. I'm going to put this one as a B. I really do love the messaging. I really do. All right. So next we have, let's see, parameters and formulas. So this goes back to what we're talking about with the cost groups. All right. So you can set up those cost groups and you can go in, you set your quantities manually, do all that kind of stuff. Or another way to do that is to use the parameters. All right. So we talked about integrations. You could have hover, render, and those are going to have an Eagle View. Those are going to have pre-populated parameters that you can use in those formulas. So basically, if you have those integrated tools, all you do is go to your job dashboard, click on the hover, render, Eagle View button, select which job you want to import in, and it's going to import all that. And then all those formulas will do all the calculations, whether it's quantities, unit cost formulas, or unit price formulas. I absolutely love this one. I'm all about time savings. I'm all about just speeding up that process, getting something into customers' hands as soon as possible. So I'm going to put this one as an A. I absolutely love it. I think it's essential, right? If you really want to maximize and optimize those cost groups. All right. So next we have dashboards. All right. So everybody loves the dashboards. I know Eric, the CEO, loves the dashboards. I love the dashboards. All right. So they just released a new feature where you can export and import these as JSON files, which is huge, right? So if you have anybody that you're communicating with in the Facebook group and other users, if you have an implementation partner you worked with in the past that might hook you up with, whatever it might be, even having multiple organizations, right? So now you can just download those and then import it into the other organization if you have multi-locations. So with these dashboards, remember, use your custom fields, use your custom views, because you can turn those into dashboard tiles and think about it, break it down. Sales, maybe it could be a financial one or with accounts receivable and accounts payable, right? You could have one that's for project operations, right? And for me, I'm big into visuals, so make sure you use charts when you want to have bar graphs, pie charts, you name it. So dashboards, I absolutely love my dashboards. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna put my dashboards as another A feature. All right, let's move on. So now we got the marketplace. So I still want to have this talk with Eric, but one of my favorite things about what they do at JobTread is the ecosystem. It feels like if you're a winner, you can win in it. If you're a user, if you're a partner, if you're a part of the team at JobTread, if you're a winner, you can win, right? So I love this ecosystem that is, hey, if they have a JobTread user and they're on JobTread, but they need an accountant or they need help with bookkeeping or they need help with implementation, like I said, make sure you're going in highest rated and you'll see us right on top. But these are all people who are serving you guys, right? So as a business, their mission is to make your life easier and be able to serve you guys as contractors. So I just think this adds just a whole nother level of value. And I think some softwares, they try to hog it all themselves, and that's their biggest issue. And when they run into bottlenecks in terms of growing their business as a software company. So I'm a diehard about the marketplace. I'm friends with a lot of the people on the marketplace, got to meet them at JobTread Connect. I'm going to put this one as an S. Let's go. Superior ecosystem, right? You can't win alone. All right. Now we have the document templates. All right. So they have some new things coming out with the document templates based off of the requests from the users. But as of now, I still love the document templates. So anything that's can send over to a vendor, to a customer, proposal, invoice, bid request, vendor expense, you name it, you can attach those to specific line items in your cost group if it's an expense, right? So you have actual job costing, live job costing. But when you're looking at the customer side of things, it's all about presentation to me, right? So you can use the markdown to add visuals and colors and really highlight certain important aspects of that proposal. You can also set up cover pages, right? So we like to set cover pages for each one of those templates that's already put in, that's on brand, and looks like you guys are the real deal. It's all about playing the part, okay? Now, also, another thing in the document templates is the payment schedules. All right. So you can set it up where as soon as you send over a proposal, this when they hit accept, it will automatically send that deposit invoice. Not only that, you can set it if you're doing progress billing or whatever it might be, that it's going to draft the remaining invoices for you and they're going to be ready to go. All right. Great time saver, great for presentation, and it's all connected, right? It starts with that centralized budget, and I love my document templates. So we're going to put this one as a B. All right. So now we have portals. So this can be your vendors and your customer portals, which seems to be tied into every single thing that we're talking about, right? We talked about messaging. We talked about sending them documents and invoices, schedules, you name it, right? It's all in these portals. And what I love too is they make it very simplistic. You don't have to make a password or anything like that. It's based off of their email address. So they don't have to go search for their username, create an account, anything like that unless they want to. And so for me, I'm all about documentation, transparency, all that kind of stuff. And one thing I'll say too is I think a lot of people treat subcontractors as not an extension of their team when they really are an extension of their team, right? This allows them to have access to things that makes them part of their team. So we're looking at the portals. I'm gonna put them as an A. I don't want to go look through my inbox. I want everything organized in one place. All right. So now we have time tracking. All right. So if you are a paid user, all right. So let's say that you have internal work, right, that you have on your staff and you're not subbing it out. they can clock in and they can clock out. You can have that synced up to the QuickBooks and everything like that. Time tracking, super cool, but we do work with a lot of people who use subcontractors where time tracking is really not important to them. So it's really going to matter on how you operate your business and the hierarchy of your organization. So for me, time tracking, I'm going to put D. All right. Now we have, let's see here, we have homeowner financing. Some of you might not know this, but you guys have homeowner financing directly integrated and synced up to your JobTread already with Acorn financing. Now, I tell this story probably too much, but I know that there was people who at Coachella, it was like 60% of these people were financing their tickets to that, right? So if they're financing tickets to that, let's think about $100,000, $150,000, right? You gotta name it, boom, 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 boom. If you really need to close deals and you're trying to drive in additional revenue and you're okay with taking the hit on the financing, you already have Acorn financing built in, right? So if you need to close that deal, why not utilize that? When you're going to send your proposal, you notice on the right-hand side, there's a toggle on and off button, right? For financing to offer it or not. That's all you have to do. Then they just click the link, they fill it out, and if they're approved, you're good to go. Remember, you're going to have that fee. But for me at Better Boss, we offer financing because, hey, we know there's business out there who need it and they need our help. And we want to be here to serve and be able to offer them a solution to solve these problems. So if you're open to it, I would definitely check it out. But I'm going to put financing, I'll put that one as a C. All right. Now we have the mobile app, right? We have people, I know owner and operators that are out in the field all the time. I've been speaking to contractors on Zoom while they're running around in their truck for over a decade now. So I know how it goes and how important it is. Now remember, their mobile app is a progressive app and it's not something you get into like the Apple Store or anything like that, which I prefer. So all you have to do is open up their website, log in your account, and then you can hit like the share button right next to the URL if you're on an iPhone, and then just say save to home screen. Now it's basically just an application that you downloaded from the Apple Store. With that, the benefit is whenever they want to update something, they don't have to resubmit it to the Apple Store. So for me, I'm all about the progressive apps. I love how they're doing it. I know it's super essential to you guys. So we're going to put this one as a B. We had some good ones left. Now we have cost catalog. So cost catalog is going to have everything in terms of your labor pricing, your materials, you name it, is going to be in that cost catalog. Now, one thing I'll say here is we've been doing enough of these and we should start with just the catalog. Sometimes it is better to start with your estimate templates or your cost groups and then push that over to catalog and then decide what to add from there that you're actually going to use. It's easier to add than remove, right? So we don't want this messy. Now, when you're looking at it, of course, the cost catalog is essential. It's kind of like the heartbeat of everything, right? But cost groups gets the shining star because that's where you're going to save all your time. So cost groups, you're essential. The sizzle and the rewards is going to be from those cost groups. So I'll put this one as a C. All right. Now we got some new features. All right. So now we got workflows. Workflows are going to be automation. So when you're looking at automations, it's always going to be if, then, right? So if this happens, then this happens. So you get 10 workflows, but there's workarounds around that as well, right? So if you can get off Zapier or any kind of automation tool and do it directly in here, that's a cool win. But when you're looking at the workflows, if then, one thing you can do is, let's say your trigger is going to be job is created or updated. Then you can use the filter setting, right? And with that filtered setting, you can filter it out by each stage in your pipeline or your status in each pipeline, right? And then from there, you can have different actions happen based off of each one of those statuses. So now you have one trigger, but you have just a massive list of automations and functionality inside of one workflow. Something cool about the workflows too is you can actually do webhooks. So each one of these workflows inside of JobTread has a workflow button where you can copy that webhook button, and that webhook can trigger something else. So if you have a tool that is somewhere else and something happens in that tool, basically you can have it synced up to that webhook and it's going to do something inside of JobTread. For the most part, JobTread workflows are all about automating stuff inside of your JobTread system. But if you have other integrated tools and something happens, boom, it hits that webhook link and triggers those actions inside that specific workflow. And then from there, you can even send another webhook, right? So there's opportunities to still integrate with other tools and have actions happen inside of JobTread. I think this is one of the coolest features, and I think they're just getting started on it. But usually with a tool like this, you're paying somebody else, another software company, for these kind of features and these kind of automations. And I think just the way it's set up and how intuitive it is, I absolutely love it. So we're throwing this one in the S. All right. We got one last one. So hang with me here. All right, guys. We got selections. All right. So the selections, that was the big talk of the town in the Facebook group. We want new selection feature. We want new selection feature. Well, we got it and it looks beautiful. All right. So ideal world, you're uploading your cost group for the estimate directly in that budget. And then you're uploading a selections template for everything that you want the client to select. There's a few ways you can go about this, right? You can have it where it's just a tiered system where it's like, hey, here's an image and this is like the ballpark pricing of something in this tier, and have different tiers that they select. And then that gets pushed over directly underneath the budget. And then you can set that as an allowance. You can set that as customer write-in, but now you know what the budget's going to be and how much money they have to spend for those different selections. Or if you want to just give them the option, say, hey, these are your 3 options, good, better, best. Pick one of these options. Now, this is a great way to improve your presentation, your customer experience, make them feel part of everything that they're doing, and honestly, probably increase your average ticket size on these jobs. Now, with the new selection tool, super cool, just rolled out. I personally, I love it, right? But it's one of those things where everybody does selection so differently. It's so weird. I'm gonna put it as a B. And you look at this. We almost got a cool little thing here. All right, guys. So that is our top JobTread features, ranked and tiered. If there's any other kind of tiered videos you guys want to see, hit us up. Let us know. If there's any kind of content you want to see, it could be a tutorial, whatever it might be. Let us know. If you need any help setting up your Better Boss account, setting up your JobTread account, you can go to better-boss.ai and schedule a free growth audit with me, Nick Perrett, the founder and CEO of Better Boss. We'd love to see you then, but God bless and win the day.